I find myself trying to watch like motivational videos sometimes to get me like pumped up, like whether it's like I'm down, I'm in a mental rut, or I just need to get my ass going to fucking lift some weights in the garage. Like, what's a mantra that you fucking go by or something that you recently had or used to just get yourself fucking pumped and juiced to fucking handle shit?
Yeah, so that's a good question. For me, I use my anger, dude.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fucking hidden anger, just deep anger. But I mean, not just that, it became like a lifestyle for me. Just all the years of training since I was a kid. That just like things that just, it's a little thing that's hidden inside me that says, get up, little bitch. And that's what is coming on. It's like, no one's really coming to help you, Eric. Like, you need to get up and help yourself. Like, it's a fighter in me, like that. It's something that I fight with every single day. It's just, I feel like my dad created a monster that's uncontrollable and that I have to control that monster. And I put this monster deep down inside. And it's like, it's like if I don't control this monster and he comes out, it's like the Hulk. He's coming to destroy. And it's like something that I would, and the guys on my team that I would work with, I would push them to the point of like, you're going to go through this fucking door, even if they're scared. Because at the end of the day, like in my mind, I was like, there's nothing else that anyone can do to me that's going to hurt me. Like, even if you try to shoot me, even if you try to stab me, I already been through all that. That might, it's what my dad instilled in me, my biological dad. It's like, there's no more damage as a child that you can do to me. And I'm just like 10-year-old little boy inside that's fighting this monster, right? And I think that pushes me every day when I go to the gym and I lift or I go do jiu-jitsu, or even if someone challenges me to like an MMA fight, I put this monster inside, and when I want to release him, I feel like he's going to be released, but it took me all these years to put him away.
Yeah.
And it's like my biggest fear is for him to come out because he's uncontrollable. And that's what scares me, man. It's something that when you come from so much fucking trauma, it just develops into this person, and it's hard. But that's like it plays in my head like, get up, you gotta fucking move forward, and it's this person calling me the worst names that you can call me, and that gets me going every single day. It becomes like to the point where I overwork out,
Right.
because I can never get it. I can never stop working out.
Think there's going to come a time where, because I have voices that channel stuff for me too, and I feel like, is there going to come a time, you think, in our lives where that voice becomes our own voice, or do you think it's always going to be that?
So, you remember like that time I asked you, like, if you were to walk in a room and you seen your 10-year-old little self, what would you tell them? So that's like me telling myself all the time, like, you can do it. You're okay. I got your back, But I think that's the only time where it's going to be like, I don't think it's ever going to go away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's real life real life trauma that, I mean, you can't heal everything.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I would push the guys to this point where, like, even like when we be out in the streets looking for someone, like, it would go far and beyond. Like, you're gonna go through this fucking door. If not, get the fuck off this team.
Yeah, because you're gonna put other people at risk if you're not fucking committed.
Yeah,
right?
and there's a lot of dudes that, even no disrespect to them, but they weren't cut out for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're gonna go through this fucking door, let's just go through this door. They're gonna shoot at you, fuck it. Let's just go through it, face it, and fucking deal with it. And you're going to deal with that at that time that is coming, because if you don't deal with it now, you're never going to go through that door. And that's how I look at life. Like, if I'm going to go through this door, I'm going to go through it now. If I'm going to step in a cage and fight someone, I'm going to go through that cage and fight. If you're standing in front of me, forgetting the way I want to get to, and you're stopping me from being successful, guess what? I'm going to go right through you. And that's how I see things. Like, I always see things like that. Like, if you can't hang with me, then you need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm in a whole different level. My mind's in a whole different mission. It's not the same as your average person. Like, it's what, like I said, this monster that's instilled in me. And I try to control that guy. And I try to lead my guys by example. Like, we're going to go through this fucking door. Yeah, this guy has a gun. Who gives a fuck? Like, who gives a fuck?
That's what you have to think. Because if you don't have that mindset, you shouldn't be doing that job.
No.
Because that's every day.
Yeah, I mean,
or even more than once a day.
Yeah, it's like, you got to do what you got to do. You got to face your fears, man. A lot of people are scared to face their fears. You know, and that's something that I face every day. Like, I go to the gym, like, I face that monster, and that's he's my fear. It's myself.
And don't you feel like when you're facing your fear, you're fucking living? You're really truly living life?
I do.
Because that tells us right there that we have choice, and that, like, it's what we're doing within that choice that's going to dictate what happens next. To me, there's no bigger fucking, like, freeing thing than knowing that. Like, it's scary, but the fact that we have that freedom is fucking amazing. And I feel like once we understand that all the bullshit is just here and not necessarily floating around us, then that's when things get easier. Yeah, because so much of our shit is in our heads, and we think that's the world, but it isn't the world. Yeah. It's just our little world up here. Yeah. You know?
And that's what, like, my uncle told me one time, and it's always stuck with me. It's like, he called me up and he told me, you're your biggest enemy. You know, you're your worst enemy. You are holding yourself back. Yeah. And it was true. I was holding myself back this whole time to figure out what I could actually be great at. And maybe it wasn't fighting, because if it was fighting, and if I really was truly about it, I would probably be a professional making millions of dollars on TV. But it's something deeper for me, man, than just fighting. I mean, when you grow up in violence, that's all you know is violence. But there's a part of me that's so humble, and that's so, like, I forgive a lot. I don't forget, but I forgive, and I try to move forward, and that's the soft side of me. You know,
you can't forget.
No,
you forgive for yourself to move on, but if you forget, then you're gonna fuck yourself over again. Yeah, because it's like when something bad happens, you forgive to move on. Yeah, and you don't forget, so you learn from it. Yeah, you don't make that same mistake again with the same type of person.
Like when my dad died, when my dad died, it was like when I sat there and talked to him and he was on life support, you know, I told him, like, I forgive you. That was the hardest thing, bro.
Good for you, dude, because that's a fucking, I know you did that for him, and I don't know whether you meant it or not at that point in time, and that doesn't really matter. But what I'm going to say, what does matter is your character, and the fact that you, even through all that bullshit, all the shit that you know you're still dealing with and that you dealt with, but you understood at that moment in time, it wasn't about your drama. It wasn't about your life. This man is on limited amount of time left. And the fact that in those minutes, you could have just walked away. You could have left. You could have left the hospital and no one would have judged you. But you made that choice to comfort him because you're a good fucking person, dude.
Here's something I never really told anybody, not even my brothers know. One day, I got a hold of my dad, and I picked him up, and he looked like he just freshly got out of fucking jail, the way he was dressed, or fucking wherever he was at. And I pick him up, and I got asked to do this exhibition fight in a gym that was promoting boxing, and they had a guy from San Jose coming down, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. So I picked my dad up, and I said, I got a surprise for you. And he was already weak at that time. He was already sick. So I took him down there, and they had this huge barbecue and these old cars, classic cars, and he was checking out some Mustang and had some food, and I was warming up in the back, and they brought us out into the middle of the gym, and they had this little small ring set up. It was just a little tiny thing. It wasn't nothing big, and me and this dude, we boxed it out, and when I looked at my dad, it was a smile on his face. It's like, yeah.
So you felt like that was a moment he was proud of you?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very important
Yeah. It was the
thing
only
for-
time that I felt like he was proud of me. Yeah, that was it. And after that, I didn't see him again until he passed. But that was
How old were you?
I was already like I was in my 20s, late 20s.
That's a good, you know what though? To a lot of people, it's going to be like, that's a late time in your life. But I'm going to tell you, it's a good, meaningful time in your life, because I feel like that's right when you're starting to get over your pig-headed part of your life.
Yeah.
And you're starting to mature, and you're starting to understand perspective, and you're starting to see outside perspective, like especially with your folks. Because like with me, I was like, it wasn't until I was like maybe 27, and then I was just like, hey, you know, I called my dad or something, and I'd be like, you know, I kind of understand, you know, why you did what you did earlier, you know, and it's weird that it takes us so much time, but I feel like that's adolescence, you know, like when you're a young child to about, I don't know, let's just say what, 24 maybe?
Yeah.
You're really just, you have no idea who the fuck you are, what you're going to do. And you kind of don't care. And I like that, because you're living your life. You're really thinking like, whatever I'm doing now is going to dictate the rest of my life. Part of that's true. Part of that's not true. But one thing that is true is like gratification, man. And like when you can get that from your parents, someone you look up to, a mentor, but especially your parents.
Yeah.
Like you said, dude, it's something that you're never going to let go. And it's always going to be something you're like, I remember that day. And like, because it's a wholesome moment, dude. It's like, it's probably a moment you weren't used to having.
No.
And I feel like it's for sure something you needed and something you deserved. But I'm glad that you were able to experience it at that age, because you were able to enjoy it and value it.
Yeah.
Because if we were like 13 or 14, we'd be like, fuck off, mom or dad. I want to go hang out with my friends, or I want to go chase some ass. Like, you don't care about like wholesome stuff. You're selfish. And it's okay, because that's a stage of your life where it's allowed.
Yeah.
You should be. You're building your character, and you need that for the rest of your life. And it's your 20s and 30s when you adjust things and realize, you know, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why was this is not how I need to think. But
maybe it was also that smirk that he had where it was like, I did create that fucking monster, you know?
Well, and I think just the way you described it right now, I think like there's a reason you took it that way, and there's a reason that you probably perceived it that way. And I think you're right. I think when people reach a certain point in their lives, no matter how stubborn they are, they realize the truth.
Yeah.
And when people are close to death, the truth is there no matter whether they like it or not. And it's funny because that's the true person. Like, some people would say, oh no, that's their scared person. No. That's the true person, because there's no ill intent and there's no malice at that stage. There's just pure, it's just pure. I would say purity, because you know how we're born innocent? You know, some people believe that children are innocent. I believe that babies are innocent. There's no hate.
Yeah.
Hate is taught. I truly believe hate is taught, and hate is inflicted, and that is why it is transferred to other people. Hurt people. But when you can get back to the point where you can bring back that innocence and that person that's wholesome, and I think that unfortunately it took his deathbed to get to that point for himself. But the fact that you were able to see it, dude, that is so fucking special, because how many men like him go through their lives and don't ever do that? I mean, talk about a cowboy type of person. Like, some guys died like that. Like they never admitted anything to anybody. And I know things weren't perfect, but I'm happy you were able to experience that, because I think that probably helped you out a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there is a human side to this person.
Yeah.
And it's not, and now I can correlate this good experience to this relationship and not just all the negativity that I grew up understanding. You know what I mean?
And I'm like, for me, it was like a piece of me that was happy for him to see me fight. You know, it's like, I would never forget that moment.
No, you shouldn't,
like,
dude.
It's forever in me. But the hard times, like, what gets me through a lot of the times is just the push, the drive. Because when you suffer so much and you've been through so much, it's like no one can ever take away of your path in life and what got you here and your struggle. And you always remember where you came from, and you never forget where you came from, right? Like, I honor those things, and like, it's true. Like, no one is going to come save you. You're the only person that's going to come save you at the end of the day. You're the only one that's going to get yourself off the couch or off that TV. If you have a drug problem, you're the only one that can fix it. People can speak to you until you're like blue in the face. They're blue in the face, and you have to be the one to say, I want that help. I want to fix it. And it took me to get the help when I needed it, to deal with this anger, to deal with this issue, because I needed it. I needed that help. I needed to, not just working out, not just jiu-jitsu, not just fighting. There was more to this hurt child that was inside, you know. And there's a point where the people say, like, if you experience trauma at a certain age, sometimes you just don't grow past that point.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're stuck at that point.
Yeah.
You know? And it's
I think that's definitely what a lot of people like.
And
sure.
And I've seen evil at different levels, not from trauma, not just from a child, but I've seen it in the points of working in the different jobs I had, where I've seen those evils. But I don't know if it affected me the same as when I was a child. You know, maybe it calluses me to the point where, as I saw it as I get older, I just didn't really give a fuck, you know, because I already had experienced so much as a child. Like, it was weird. Like, like when I got shot at, I was scared as fuck. But at the end of the day, like, I already have been through so much shit. I don't know if it affected me as much as it would somebody else, you know?
Right. Like a callus.
I went home and had a beer after, and it was like, you know, there's other parts to it. But, you know, I went to a bar and got drunk after. You know, like, I
mean, rightly so. You're probably on an adrenaline high.
Yeah, I was adrenaline high. But it's just like, I don't know, man. Just when you hit those certain points, it's just like, fuck, dude. You've done everything you fucking possibly can. Even with words now. You know, like, people talk shit, and I just try to let it go. Because I know that you open that door for this fucking monster, like, it's something you can't handle. You know, and I have to put that guy away and be a bigger person now.
Right. And I think part of understanding, like, adulthood is realizing it's like,
you get older and you grow up, you mature,
you pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
You're like, is this gonna benefit me? If I beat the living shit out of this guy, because now I start to feel like that. Even it's not that I'm a fucking stud, but it's like, if I beat the living shit out, because that's, you know, when you're mad at someone, that's what you want. That's what I want. When I'm truly mad at someone I don't like, and they wronged me, I want to beat the living shit out of them. That's what I'm doing in my mind. But I know that once that last punch is thrown, I'm going to feel nothing but remorse and regret. And I'm going to feel like a piece of shit.
Well, that's the thing.
And that's why I'm glad I can, like, learn from other people. I've been in situations where I've done that, though. You know, where I've, like, been a drunken person that's wrestling with people outside. You know, and it doesn't solve anything. It's purely ego, and it means nothing if you win.
And you could lose everything that you worked hard for.
It means nothing if you win, and it means nothing if it means nothing if you win, and it means everything if you lose. So what's the fucking point?
This is one of the things that always plays in my head. Like, if you get into a fight on the street, and yeah, you can defend yourself, but you hit someone wrong and they fucking die, or hit their head on the
it's
concrete,
manslaughter if you're lucky.
Then you lose everything that you worked so hard for to get to that point. Like, and like, That's what I think about. Like,
And what was it all over?
it was
You know
over
what I mean?
nothing.
A spot in line at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
I mean, something
Or
super stupid, right?
I think also people get too comfortable talking shit, you know, and
And not having
they
to back it
forget
up.
that those world, you will run into them at some point,
Yeah.
right? Like they
Yeah.
get too comfortable, and you know, like is it really worth it? You know, it's not worth it, because once you start throwing punches, you get arrested or they get hurt, then you get sued, you got to pay restitution. You know, like
You know what I was thinking about today?
you're fucked.
Today I was driving Vincent home from school, and I was like remembering the kid who bullied him, and right? And I thought to myself, I saw this dad with two kids. They were all riding scooters on the sidewalk. And this is one of those daydreams when you're driving type shit. But I was just like, that day he came to me, and he was so overwhelmed, and he was getting bullied. I was like, I wanted to like find that motherfucker, you know? And I thought to myself, even if I fight that dad or whatever, it'd be no different than me looking at that guy that was scootering with his kids on the side of the road, stopping and yelling something at him. That guy has no connection with me, doesn't even know who the fuck I am. And I would have ruined those kids' day and that dad's day.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say too is just like, if I fight that guy that I'm mad at, I'm snowballing some bullshit into his life, into his kid's life, into my kid's life, my own life. Nothing good is coming from that. And at the end of the day, even if, let's just say I'm Charles Bronson, I beat the shit out of him, I stand over him and take a piss on him, I'm not going to talk about it later. I'm not going to brag about that. It's not going to be on my resume. So it's like, if I'm not proud of that, then why am I doing it? I shouldn't only be doing things that I'm fucking proud of or that I know I need to do.
Yeah. And sometimes kids are funny like that, where they bully because they're going through something themselves at home with their own parents. I mean, there's multiple things they could be going through. You just don't know. You know, that's the hard part, right? Like, some kids act out differently. You know, I mean, there's no excuse to anybody, but, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it, but I mean, sometimes they're going through things themselves, and that's the only way they know how to take things out is on another kid, because they prey on the weak, because they're really weak inside and no one's taught them how to be.
Well, and that's what their abusers doing to them is preying on the weak.
And that's what I feel like a lot of dudes do. Like, even me being abused as a child, it was like there was more to the story that my dad went through. Maybe there's no excuse for him for what he did to us, my brothers, my mother, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you went through shit and you did it. I mean, dude, I mean, there was times where like not to get into this whole thing, but even there was times my dad would beat the shit out of my mom, and we'd see it, and he kicked her so hard in the stomach she'd puke up this white shit. Fuck. You know. And one time I called my dad a punk, and he jumped on top of me, and he started punching me in my face.
But you were just doing that to get him off your mom.
I was doing that to get off my mom, and he got on top of me, started hitting me. Then my mom jumped in and he threw her on the ground, and then he kicked her. That's when he kicked her, and then she started puking up things. And then, I mean, it was really bad, you know. But as a child, like, you don't forget those things.
But like, to go through all that and to do what you did when he was dying, once again, I commend you, bro, because it takes a strong person. It takes a good person to do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, myself included, I don't know if I'd be strong enough to do that. I might have told, hey, kick rocks, motherfucker. I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Because, hey, but that doesn't mean that's the right way to behave.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, like, I don't know if I'm strong-willed enough to have been able to put aside my own shit to say, look, this is what I need to do, not what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that you didn't want to do it. I think you did, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have done it. I'm commending you, because that's more of a man than I'll probably ever be, bro. Yeah. Like, hats off to you for that shit. That's big. That's big fucking shoe shit, and you need to fucking pat yourself on the back for that. I'm serious. Like,
there at some point in your life, like, you need closure, and I think that was my closure.
Yeah, I agree.
I couldn't keep.
That was your forgiveness.
I couldn't keep living the way I was living, and having this anger, having this like I said, I put that guy away a long time ago, and that's why I work out, because I'm scared for him to come out. But at the same time, it's like that soft part of me and that guy. It's like to actually bury that motherfucker deep into me. It's I have to close the books.
Yeah.
I have to close those doors, because if I don't close the doors, he's gone already. He couldn't even talk. There's nothing he could say to me. This, even if he said sorry, it's still not going to matter.
No,
to
you got
me.
nothing. So what I mean too is like you chose to make that like better for yourself and better for him.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes a big person, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks, brother.
I look up to you for that. Like
Yeah.
that's
Thanks,
everyone has issues with their family, and it takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of courage to do something like that.
That's what I want to say to people. Like, even if they're going through stuff, like kids or anybody that's going through it, and they're in a situation where they feel like they can't get help. There's always help out there. There's always like someone that's willing to hear you out, someone that's willing to help you. And sometimes it just takes that little bit, a little inch for you to really say, or even someone sees someone struggling, like, hey, you okay? Because that little moment can change everything for someone. That little moment of caring could really change someone's life, because you don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're going through, right? It's just that little moment could really change everything. And, you know, you might feel like you're suffering today, but tomorrow there's a light at the end of the road where you can actually see peace and be okay with yourself. And it takes a lot to grow. As long as you believe in yourself that you can get there, you'll get there. As long as you dream about it and you say, like, I can do this, even if you're in the worst fucking situation, you're homeless on the street, lost everything, in an abusive relationship, or your family's being abusive to you, or you're hooked on drugs, like, there's a way. You just got to find that path for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to find that path for yourself. And it all starts with you. In order for me to forgive my father, like, it started with me. And that's the whole thing. I had to learn to forgive myself for having so much hate. And then going down that road of forgiving him.
Yeah, and
closing those doors.
You wanted to break the cycle.
I have to break the
You
cycle.
wanted
I don't want my kids
because
growing up like that.
if you didn't do that, you would have done the same thing. You would have been the same person theoretically, and you might have made the same choices with your kids, like you just said, and you didn't want that.
It's like today, like, people talk shit to you. People talk shit on the internet. Just forgive them, because you're going through something yourself. You're dealing with your own demons, bro. You know, you guys are dealing
You
with
can't
your own
hide
shit.
from those. Hey, and look, and like Joey Diaz says some cool shit the other day that I liked. He says, if you don't check in on your skeletons, they're going to check in on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And what I mean by that is like the skeletons in your closet, you know, like if you don't check in on your bullshit, then it's going to come fucking hauling at you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like those motherfuckers that can't control themselves, they got a baby brain, you know, and it's, and I think that's the way we got to look at it. It's like, cool, I'm not going to fight an infant. So if you're going to sit over there with your rattle and want to scream at me, go for it. Because all this shit means nothing to me. I'm like, I'm not going to strike a toddler. And I feel like sometimes I need to look at some grown men like they're toddlers.
Yeah.
You know, like walk away. Because if there's a 3-year-old calling me a piece of shit and he's screaming at me, yeah, maybe I'll smack him in the back of the head. But I'm probably just going to walk away and be like, glad I'm not his parent.
Yeah.
So it's like the same goes with that fucking adult that wants to fucking flex nuts online. Like, what does that mean, dude? Who are you? Who are you, though? Like, I want to ask that question. I want to be like, who are you? Because you probably don't know that answer. And if you don't know that answer, then get the fuck out of my face. Because if you don't know who the fuck you are, don't be questioning who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they're dealing with their
Figure
own
your shit out before you start clowning on people, start hating on other people, because you don't know shit.
Yeah.
We're all figuring this shit out together, and none of us know what the fuck we're doing. And the minute we understand that, I think we're happier. We're a lot more at ease, because we're not in competition with each other. We think we are. And in some levels we are, but we're really not.
Yeah.
What we should be focusing on is how we can live our best life. And like what Mike said, like How can I teach people? How can I help people? I have that in me too. Like I want to give people an avenue. I want to give people options. I want them to show, I want to be an example, a good example. I don't want them to look at this guy and be like, well, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
I want to be like that guy. That guy sucks. It's like, no, I want to be like, oh, cool. You dealt with that. That's what I'm going through. I don't have to make all the mistakes you made so I can figure things out too. And that's what I think that's what we're doing this project for. And I think it's helped define us as individuals as we've grown our relationship with each other. Like we know what we need to work on too.
That's what I say to a lot of people. Like if they're trying to be the best fighter in the world and they want to be the best jiu-jitsu guy, the best MMA guy, the best boxer, the best football player, the best everything, just do this. Shh. Keep it quiet to yourself and dream about it. Believe in it. You don't need to spread it across the world. You don't need to show off on Instagram, on the internet. Keep it quiet to yourself. Hold that dream and then fucking just do it. And then when you make it there, then you can show everybody you did it. Then that's when you say, I fucking made it. But if you do this right now, quiet, and just keep it in you, you will fucking get there. But if you're telling everybody your fucking plan, you're never going to get there.
Nope.
There's going to be so many people to stop you. So many people that's going to be in your ears. But if you do a little more of this, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, let them.
And just do it. You will fucking do it. There's no point of just doing stupid shit. I get it. But there's just no point.
Well, and let them see you when you finally got that red carpet rolling out in front of you. Like then they can kiss your ass. You know what I mean? But just grind because it's about you. And when you're focusing on people's reactions to your grind, you're not grinding.
Yeah.
If you're grinding, none of that shit even is on your radar.
Well, just like Tactical Ink, man. A lot of people don't. I mean, there's a lot of people who love my stuff, right? This stuff comes fucking to the top of my head. This crazy shit, and there's people like that fucking don't like it.
Sure,
but it's okay,
right?
Me, because you know what? When I launched this shit, I kept it quiet, and then when I did it, boom, I fucking did it, and now my shit's all over the fucking world, right? That's what's cool.
Hell yeah.
It's all over the fucking world. You might not like it, but guess what?
Latvia, bro. We're in Latvia right now.
It's fucking in fucking Europe. It's in fucking Germany. It's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I got people from fucking Ukraine and the fucking war that knows about my shit. You know, I got like that's fucking amazing to me.
And those people are war torn,
dude, that fucking know my shit. You know,
yeah.
It all started from a fucking dream. Our fucking conversation with my fucking partner who died, and I fucking kept my mouth shut, and I kept my promise to him, and I fucking did it.
Fuck yeah.
And that's it.
And it shows.
Yeah. And I'm gonna keep doing shit.
Fuck yeah. We're gonna keep doing this shit. We're gonna keep being savages because that's what we know. And they can either figure it out or they can get fucking left in the dust. That's how I feel. Get on and get the fuck out, you know? Yeah.
And if you see us in the streets, like, have a normal conversation with us, man. See me at Starbucks, talk to me. I'm like,
maybe buy us a coffee. I'm being an asshole right now. Like,
no, I'm always open to talking to people, dude. And if you're going through something, whether it's like, and if you're listening to this right now, and if you're going through something, I'm telling you right now, bro, like, I don't care if it's like a trauma, if you're going through a girlfriend relationship or a boyfriend relationship, it will fucking subside and you will see a light at the end of the tunnel. You will thank yourself later. There's a reason why it didn't work out between you guys. And there's always something better or someone better waiting for you. And you just don't know it yet because you're in the suffering. And once you get out of that suffering, you will see it. And there's so much more to it. That's all I really have to say, man.
Time's the ultimate healer, bro.
Yeah.
Discipline, time, and patience.
I promise you there's something better for you.
Hell yeah.
So
I like it.
We're out. Thank you, guys.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Drink a beer.
I'm talking relax. To you. Cheers.
Cheers. Drink a beer. Relax.
Smoke a joint. You know? Ease up. Make some macaroni and cheese and call it a night.
Go watch some fucking porn.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go watch some porn.
Have a good night.